Have you ever tossed a penny into a jar without looking at it? What if one of those tiny coins could be worth more than a luxury mansion? It sounds impossible, but one particular 2000 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark has sparked incredible excitement among collectors. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why thousands of people are searching through their spare change right now instead of spending it. Most people think pennies are practically worthless. They end up forgotten in cup holders, couch cushions, piggy banks, or at the bottom of old drawers. But history has proven something fascinating. Some ordinary-looking pennies have sold for thousands, tens of thousands, and in rare cases, even life-changing amounts because of unusual errors, exceptional condition, or collector demand. That's exactly why you should never ignore the next penny you find. Today's mystery centers around the 2000 Lincoln penny with the D mint mark. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary. Millions were struck at the Denver Mint, and most are worth only 1 cent. So why has this coin become the subject of so many online discussions and collector stories? The answer isn't the date alone. It's what might be hiding on the coin that makes all the difference. Before we reveal the incredible possibilities, there's something most people never realize. A coin's value isn't determined by age alone. In fact, many newer coins have sold for far more than older ones. Collectors are searching for rarity, condition, and unusual mistakes that occurred during the minting process. Sometimes those tiny mistakes create treasures hiding in plain sight. Now imagine this. You're sorting through a handful of pennies after buying groceries. One catches your eye because it looks unusually sharp, brighter than the others, or maybe the lettering appears slightly doubled. Most people would never notice. They'd spend it without a second thought. But experienced collectors know those tiny details can change everything. Here's where the story gets even more interesting. The Denver Mint produced billions of pennies in the year 2000. That means finding a regular example isn't difficult at all. But among those billions, a tiny number escaped with minting errors or survived in extraordinary condition. Those are the coins collectors dream about finding. Let's talk about one of the biggest clues. Look closely at the date and the word Liberty. If you notice what appears to be doubling on the letters or numbers, don't assume your eyes are playing tricks on you. Certain double dies can dramatically increase collector interest. Genuine double dies are created during the manufacturing process, making them completely different from ordinary damage or blurry wear. But that's only the beginning. Some collectors search for off-center strikes. These happen when the blank coin isn't perfectly aligned before being struck by the dies. The result can leave part of the design missing while another section appears unusually wide. Depending on how dramatic the error is, these coins can become highly desirable. Then there are broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, cut errors, and dramatic die breaks. Each one tells the story of a tiny mechanical problem inside the mint. Instead of destroying every mistake, a few escaped into circulation, creating collectible pieces that still appear in pocket change today. Now here's something that surprises almost everyone. Sometimes the coin doesn't need a dramatic error at all. A perfectly struck 2000 D Lincoln penny with brilliant original red color and an exceptionally high grade from a respected grading service can command surprisingly strong prices. Why? Because preserving a modern penny in flawless condition is much harder than people think. Most coins immediately enter circulation, where they collect scratches, nicks, and discoloration. Finding one that looks almost exactly as it did on the day it left the Denver Mint is incredibly uncommon. But don't stop checking yet. Flip the coin over. Look carefully at the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Search for unusual doubling, strange die cracks, or missing details. Tiny differences that most people overlook may catch the attention of experienced collectors. Here's another mistake people make. Many assume cleaning a coin will increase its value. In reality, cleaning almost always hurts collectible value. Even gentle polishing can leave microscopic scratches that grading experts immediately recognize. A naturally toned coin is almost always preferred over one that's been cleaned to shine. Imagine discovering what looks like a special penny in your change, only to accidentally destroy much of its value by trying to make it look prettier. That's a heartbreaking mistake collectors warn beginners about all the time. Now let's talk about grading. Professional grading companies examine coins under powerful magnification. They evaluate strike quality, luster, color, wear, and preservation before assigning a numerical grade. The difference between an average circulated coin and a nearly perfect mint state example can mean the difference between 1 cent and thousands of dollars. That's why serious collectors never judge value by appearance alone. Here's where the suspense really builds. You've probably seen headlines claiming a 2000D Lincoln penny is worth $1 million. Those stories spread across social media every year, inspiring millions of people to search through old jars of change. But here's the reality. A standard 2000D Lincoln penny is not worth anywhere near $1 million. Extraordinary values require extraordinarily rare circumstances, such as a major mint error, an exceptional certified grade, or another unique characteristic that makes the coin one of the finest known examples. That's what separates internet myths from genuine collecting. Still, don't lose hope. Rare error coins have absolutely sold for impressive amounts, and top-grade modern Lincoln Cents continue attracting strong competition whenever truly exceptional examples appear at major auctions. The key is knowing exactly what you're looking for instead of believing every viral headline. Think about how many pennies pass through your hands every year. A few after buying coffee, a handful from the grocery store, an old jar inherited from grandparents, a forgotten coffee can sitting in the garage. Most people never inspect them. That's exactly why hidden treasures sometimes remain undiscovered for years. Collectors love stories about incredible finds because they really do happen. Someone opens an old collection. Someone checks inherited coins. Someone notices an unusual error others ignored. While those discoveries are rare, they're the reason people keep searching. Here's your challenge. Find every 2000D Lincoln penny you can. Place it under a bright light. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. Inspect the date. Inspect Liberty. Inspect the mint mark. Inspect the reverse. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, unusual cracks, missing details, or remarkable preservation. If something looks different, don't rush to conclusions. Compare it with reliable reference images, and if you truly believe you've found something special, consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service. That single step could answer the question every collector wants answered. Is this just another penny? Or is it something extraordinary? The thrill isn't only about money. It's about solving a mystery that has been hiding in your pocket all along. Every coin tells a story. Some stories end with 1 cent. Others end with an unforgettable discovery. Now I'm curious. Have you ever found an unusual Lincoln penny or another coin that looked different from the rest? Maybe it's sitting in a drawer right now, waiting for a closer inspection. Take a look before you spend another penny, because once a rare coin leaves your hands, you may never see it again. And remember, while million-dollar claims make exciting headlines, real value comes from rarity, condition, authenticity, and verified collector demand. The smartest collectors rely on facts, careful examination, and patience instead of hype. So before you ignore that next handful of change, give every penny one more look. Your ordinary pocket change could be hiding an extraordinary surprise. If you enjoy uncovering hidden money secrets, fascinating coin mysteries, and real stories behind America's most collectible coins, be sure to subscribe and join us for the next search. You never know which tiny coin could become your biggest discovery. What if the next penny you find is worth more than a luxury mansion? It sounds impossible, but one tiny detail on a 2001D Lincoln penny has collectors searching through jars, drawers, and old piggy banks every single day. And if you miss it, you could spend a coin that's worth far more than 1 cent. Most people think every 2001 Denver Lincoln penny is common. That's exactly why the rare ones slip through unnoticed. Hidden among billions of ordinary coins are a handful with unusual features that have turned ordinary pocket change into incredible collector treasures. Today, you're going to discover what makes certain 2001D Lincoln pennies so valuable, the mistakes that can increase their value dramatically, and the truth behind the stories claiming some are worth millions. Picture this. You're cleaning out an old coffee can filled with spare change that has been sitting in your garage for years. You almost dump the pennies into a coin counting machine. Then one catches your eye. It looks different somehow. That tiny moment could change everything if you know exactly what to look for. The year 2001 doesn't seem special at first glance. Millions of Americans were carrying these pennies every day. The Denver Mint struck billions of them, each marked with a small D beneath the date. Because they were made in such huge numbers, most people assume everyone is only worth face value. That's where the mystery begins. Collectors don't chase ordinary coins. They chase the unusual ones. They look for tiny errors, perfect preservation, and unexpected varieties that escaped the mint. Those rare survivors can command astonishing prices when the right buyer finds them. Here's something many people never realize. Two pennies made on the same day in the same mint can end up with completely different values. One might buy a piece of candy. The other could pay for a new car. Why? Because condition changes everything. Imagine two identical 2001 VDB Lincoln pennies. One spent 20 years bouncing around cash registers, parking lots, and vending machines. The other was carefully preserved from the moment it left the mint. The first is worn, scratched, and dull. The second still shines with its original mint luster. Collectors call that original shine mint brilliance, and it matters far more than most people think. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Some 2001 VDB Lincoln pennies were struck with minting mistakes. These weren't intentional. They happened because of mechanical problems, worn equipment, or small production errors during the minting process. Most mistakes were caught before the coins entered circulation, but a few escaped. Those escapees are the coins collectors dream about. Have you ever heard of a double die? It's one of the most famous types of coin varieties. On some coins, letters or numbers appear doubled because of the way the die was prepared. The doubling isn't always obvious. Sometimes you need magnification to spot it. Other valuable errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, die chips, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and dramatic misalignments. Each one tells a story. Each one is unique. And each one can increase value dramatically depending on its rarity and condition. But don't start celebrating just yet. Here's a mistake thousands of people make every year. They see damage caused after the coin left the mint and assume they found a rare error. Scratches from parking lots, marks from lawn mowers, coins squeezed in machines, heat damage, chemical discoloration. None of these are valuable mint errors. Knowing the difference can save you from major disappointment. Now let's talk about something even more exciting. Professional grading. When collectors believe they've found an exceptional coin, they often send it to independent grading companies. Experts inspect the coin, verify its authenticity, assign a numerical grade, and seal it inside a protective holder. That number can completely change the coin's value. A coin graded mint state 65 may be worth significantly less than one graded mint state 68. Move up another point. The price can jump again. That's because truly flawless modern coins are surprisingly difficult to find. Even tiny contact marks made during shipping from the mint can reduce the grade. Imagine thousands of fresh pennies stacked together in heavy bags. They bump into each other before ever reaching the bank. Those little hits matter. That's why pristine examples are so desirable. Now let's address one of the biggest questions people ask online. Is there really a million 2001 VDB Lincoln penny? The internet is filled with sensational headlines claiming ordinary pennies are worth $1 million or more. These stories spread quickly because everyone wants to believe they already own hidden treasure. The reality is more complicated. No ordinary circulated 2001 VDB Lincoln penny is worth $1 million simply because of its date and mint mark. However, extraordinarily rare mint errors, unique varieties, or one-of-a-kind combinations with exceptional grading can achieve astonishing prices in the collector market. While million-dollar claims are extremely rare and usually exaggerated, the rarest certified coins have surprised experts before. That's exactly why serious collectors inspect every coin carefully instead of making assumptions. Here's another detail almost nobody checks. Look closely at Lincoln's portrait. Study the lettering. Inspect the date. Examine the mint mark. Turn the coin over and inspect the Lincoln memorial. Tiny abnormalities can make an enormous difference. Some collectors use magnifying glasses. Others use digital microscopes. The smallest details often reveal the biggest surprises. Now imagine this. A family inherits an old collection from a grandfather who never threw away pennies. Inside one dusty box sits a beautiful 2001 VDB Lincoln penny with brilliant red color, almost perfect surfaces, and an unusual striking error. Nobody notices it for years. One day, curiosity wins. The coin gets professionally examined. The experts confirm it's a genuine mint error preserved in remarkable condition. Suddenly, what looked like ordinary pocket change becomes the highlight of the collection. Stories like that are exactly why coin collecting remains so exciting. Every roll of pennies holds possibility. Every forgotten jar offers hope. Every estate sale could contain overlooked treasures. But here's something successful collectors understand. Patience beats luck. They don't expect every coin to be valuable. Instead, they learn what to search for. They compare details. They research varieties. They study grading standards. Knowledge becomes their greatest investment. That's why beginners who educate themselves often make discoveries that casual collectors overlook. Think about how many pennies pass through your hands every year. Hundreds? Maybe thousands? Most people never examine a single one. They spend them without looking. Meanwhile, experienced collectors inspect every date, every mint mark, and every unusual feature before deciding whether to keep or spend the coin. That habit has paid off countless times. Now here's your challenge. The next time you receive change at the grocery store, don't immediately toss the pennies into your pocket. Pause. Take a closer look. Find the date. Look for the small D mint mark. Check the surfaces. Inspect the lettering. Notice anything unusual? If you do, don't clean the coin. Cleaning almost always reduces collector value because it leaves tiny scratches that experts can easily detect. Instead, place the coin in a protective holder and research it carefully before making any decisions. You might discover it's perfectly ordinary, or you might uncover something far more interesting. That's the thrill that keeps collectors searching year after year. No one knows where the next remarkable discovery will appear. Could be hiding inside an old coin jar, a forgotten piggy bank, a bankroll, an inherited collection, or even the loose change sitting on your kitchen counter right now. So before you spend another penny, ask yourself one simple question. What if this is the one everyone else overlooked? That single question has started countless collecting journeys and led to unforgettable discoveries. Now tell me in the comments, what's the oldest Lincoln penny you've ever found? And have you ever discovered an unusual error coin in your own pocket change? Your story might inspire someone else to start looking a little closer. And if you enjoy uncovering hidden money secrets hiding in everyday coins, make sure you subscribe, because the next incredible treasure could already be waiting in your pocket. A single penny could be hiding in your pocket right now. And if you overlook one tiny detail, you might accidentally spend a coin that collectors would fight to own. The coin we're talking about today has created endless rumors, surprising discoveries, and unforgettable treasure hunting stories. But here's the twist. Most people don't even know what they're looking at. Imagine paying for a cup of coffee with a penny that could completely change your financial future. It sounds impossible, but history has proven that ordinary-looking coins have sold for extraordinary prices when the right combination of rarity, condition, and unique characteristics came together. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what separates a common 1-cent coin from the kind that makes collectors stop in their tracks. Before you dismiss every 2006 penny as pocket change, there's something you need to know. Millions were made, yes, but not every coin leaves the mint exactly the same. Tiny differences, production mistakes, and exceptional preservation can turn an everyday coin into something much more desirable. That's where the mystery begins. Let's rewind for a moment. In 2006, the Lincoln Memorial penny was still part of everyday American life. Almost everyone handled these coins without giving them a second thought. They passed through cash registers, piggy banks, couch cushions, and jars sitting on kitchen counters. Most eventually became scratched, stained, or worn down from years of circulation. But a few escaped that fate. Some were carefully saved from the day they were struck. Others somehow remained almost untouched. And then there are the coins that carry unusual minting errors, tiny imperfections that weren't supposed to happen at all. Now here's something that surprises many people. A 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark wasn't made by mistake. No mint mark simply means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike Denver coins marked with a D or San Francisco proof coins marked with an S, Philadelphia circulation pennies from that year normally have no mint mark. That means the missing mint mark alone does not make the coin rare. But don't click away just yet, because this is exactly where countless treasure hunters get confused, and where the real opportunities begin. Collectors aren't paying huge prices simply because a penny lacks a mint mark. They're paying for something much more specific: condition, errors, and extreme rarity. Think about two identical cars. One has been driven hundreds of thousands of miles, while the other has stayed inside a climate-controlled garage since the day it was purchased. They're technically the same model, but one is worth dramatically more. Coins work the same way. A worn 2006 Philadelphia penny is generally worth face value. But an absolutely flawless example with blazing original color, razor-sharp details, and a top professional grade can become surprisingly valuable. And that's only the beginning. What really gets collectors excited are the mint errors. Picture a machine striking thousands of coins every hour. Everything has to line up perfectly, but every once in a while something goes wrong. A die shifts. A planchet isn't positioned correctly. The striking pressure changes. Or a damaged die creates unusual marks that repeat across multiple coins. Those tiny manufacturing accidents can create collectibles that are far scarcer than ordinary pennies. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Many people searching online have seen headlines claiming a 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is worth hundreds of thousands, or even $1 million. That's enough to make anyone run to the nearest coin jar. But the truth requires a little more patience. No ordinary 2006 Philadelphia penny has sold simply because it has no mint mark for anywhere close to $1 million. Instead, extraordinary prices come from combinations that are incredibly difficult to find. Imagine discovering a coin with an exceptional mint error that has also survived in nearly perfect condition for 2 decades. Now you're talking about something collectors compete over. Professional grading becomes incredibly important at that point. Companies like PCGS and NGC examine coins under magnification, assigning numerical grades from 1 to 70. That number can completely transform a coin's market value. A difference of just 1 point near the top of the grading scale can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That's why experienced collectors never clean their coins. And this is where many valuable discoveries are accidentally ruined. Someone notices an old penny looks dirty. They polish it until it shines. It looks better to the naked eye. But to collectors, the damage has already been done. Cleaning creates microscopic scratches that permanently reduce value. Ironically, leaving the coin alone is often the smartest decision. Now let's talk about what you should actually inspect if you own a 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Start with the date. Make sure it clearly reads 2006. Next, check that there truly is no mint mark beneath the date, confirming it came from Philadelphia. After that, examine Lincoln's portrait carefully. Look for doubling around the lettering. Watch for unusual die cracks. Inspect the rim for off-center strikes. Look at both sides under strong lighting. Small differences can make an enormous difference. Then pay attention to the coin's color. Collectors often separate copper-plated zinc pennies into 3 categories: brown, red-brown, and red. Brilliant original red examples usually command the strongest prices because they show very little environmental damage. That's another reason untouched coins stored properly can outperform heavily circulated examples. Here's another twist that surprises beginners. Sometimes the coin itself isn't especially rare. Instead, the holder becomes important. If a coin has already been professionally authenticated and graded at the highest known level, registry set collectors may compete aggressively to own the finest example available. That competition can push prices much higher than most people expect. Now imagine opening an old family coin album. Inside sits a bright red 2006 Lincoln penny that nobody has touched for 20 years. Most people would assume it's worth 1 cent. A knowledgeable collector would immediately begin checking every tiny detail before making that assumption. Because hidden treasures don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they hide in plain sight. Over the years, incredible discoveries have been made in inherited collections, forgotten bank rolls, estate sales, and even pocket change. That's exactly why millions of Americans continue checking their coins today. Not because every penny is valuable, but because every valuable penny once looked ordinary to someone else. And here's the lesson that separates successful collectors from everyone else. They don't chase impossible headlines. They chase facts. They learn diagnostics. They understand grading. And they know that patience often beats luck. Now let's return to the million-dollar question. Can a 2006 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny really be worth $1 million? For a normal circulation strike, the answer is no. Claims of million-dollar values are generally exaggerated or based on misunderstandings. However, if an extraordinary mint error of historic significance were discovered on a unique example and intense collector competition followed, its value could become exceptionally high. But such situations are extraordinarily rare and should never be assumed. That's why education is your greatest tool. Knowing what actually creates value protects you from unrealistic expectations while helping you recognize genuine opportunities. And sometimes those genuine opportunities are hiding where nobody else bothers to look. So before you spend another handful of pennies, slow down. Check the dates. Inspect the surfaces. Look for unusual errors. Compare what you see under magnification. And if something looks truly different, consider having it evaluated by a reputable professional before making any decisions. You never know which coin could become the conversation piece of your entire collection. Now I'm curious. Have you ever found an unusual penny in your pocket, inherited a coin collection from a family member, or discovered an old jar of change you've never searched? Let everyone know in the comments because your story might inspire someone else to take a closer look at their own coins. And remember, the greatest treasure hunters aren't always the luckiest people. They're the ones who notice the details everyone else ignores. If you enjoy uncovering hidden money secrets, fascinating coin stories, and real collecting knowledge that can help you separate ordinary change from extraordinary finds, make sure you subscribe and join us for the next adventure. Your next incredible discovery might already be sitting in your pocket, waiting for the moment you finally decide to look. That penny in your pocket could be hiding a life-changing secret, and most people spend it without ever taking a second look. Imagine reaching into your pocket for a single penny to pay for something, only to discover later that collectors would have paid an incredible amount of money for it. It sounds impossible, but stories like that have happened before. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about modern Lincoln pennies online, the mysterious 2013 Brahma Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Some people even claim it's worth $1 million. But is that really true? Before you believe everything you see on social media, there are some shocking details you absolutely need to know because one tiny feature could completely change the value of your coin. The year 2013 doesn't sound very old. Most people think valuable coins have to be ancient, made of silver, or covered in beautiful toning. That's exactly why this penny surprises so many collectors. It looks ordinary, still found in change. Millions of Americans have handled one without giving it a second glance. But here's where things get interesting. The Lincoln Cent has always attracted collectors because small differences can create huge price differences. One tiny error during production, one unusual strike, or one rare variety can transform an ordinary 1-cent coin into something collectors desperately want. That's why experienced coin hunters never ignore a penny. Now let's clear up one important mystery. When people talk about a 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, many assume that means something is missing. In reality, most Lincoln pennies made for circulation at the Philadelphia Mint don't carry a mint mark at all. So, seeing no mint mark on a 2013 penny is completely normal. That alone doesn't make it valuable. So why are people talking about million-dollar pennies? That's where the mystery begins. Over the years, rumors have spread across the internet claiming certain 2013 pennies are worth unbelievable amounts. Videos, posts, and headlines promise incredible discoveries hiding in everyday pocket change. While these stories capture attention, the truth is more complicated, and knowing that truth could save you from making an expensive mistake, or help you recognize a genuinely valuable coin. Instead of focusing only on the date, smart collectors inspect every tiny detail. First, look closely at Lincoln's portrait. Is every detail sharp? Can you clearly see the beard, hair, and coat? A weak strike usually lowers value, while an exceptionally sharp strike may attract collectors, especially in high grades. Next, inspect the lettering. The words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date should all appear crisp and evenly struck. If letters look doubled, shifted, or unusually thick, you might be looking at a genuine mint error instead of ordinary wear. But don't celebrate just yet. Many forms of damage happen after a coin leaves the mint. Scratches, dents, machine damage, and environmental corrosion can fool beginners into thinking they've found a rare error. Experienced collectors know the difference, and that's why education matters. Now here's another detail that many people completely overlook. Turn the coin over. The reverse should display the Union Shield design introduced in 2010. Carefully inspect every line in the shield. Look for cracks, missing design elements, unusual raised lines, or dramatic off-center strikes. Authentic mint errors often appear because something unusual happened during production, not because the coin was damaged later. Here's something even more exciting. Some of the most valuable modern Lincoln cents aren't famous because of their date. They're valuable because of dramatic mint errors. Double strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchets, major die breaks, and dramatic off-center strikes can command significant premiums depending on their rarity, condition, and certification. Imagine opening an old jar of pennies from your grandparents and spotting one that looks slightly different. Most people would toss it back into the pile. A knowledgeable collector would stop immediately and investigate every detail before making any decision. That's the difference between spending 1 cent and discovering something extraordinary. Condition also plays a massive role. Collectors use a grading scale from poor all the way to mint state 70. A 2013 Lincoln penny that has never entered circulation and still shines with original mint luster can be worth much more than one that's been bouncing around pockets for years. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification, checking strike quality, surface preservation, luster, eye appeal, and authenticity. Even tiny contact marks can dramatically affect value. Now you're probably wondering about the $1 million claim. Let's talk honestly. There is no widely verified public auction record showing an ordinary 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny selling for $1 million simply because of its date and lack of a mint mark. Extraordinary prices require extraordinary reasons. Usually, that means an extremely rare mint error, an exceptional certified grade, unique historical significance, or another factor that separates the coin from billions of ordinary cents. That doesn't mean you should ignore your pennies. Far from it. Modern Lincoln cents with spectacular mint errors have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Exceptional examples in elite grades can also surprise collectors. Every year, valuable discoveries are made because someone decided to inspect their change instead of spending it. Here's a quick challenge. Grab every 2013 Lincoln penny you can find. Spread them across a table under a bright light. Compare each one carefully. Look for doubled lettering, off-center strikes, unusual surfaces, die cracks, clipped edges, or anything that appears dramatically different from the others. You may not find a fortune today, but the search itself teaches you how valuable knowledge can become. Remember, the rarest coins often look ordinary at first glance. That's exactly why they survive in circulation for so long. People simply don't know what they're looking at. Another tip many beginners miss is storage. If you believe you've found something unusual, don't clean the coin. Cleaning almost always reduces collector value because it permanently alters the original surface. Instead, handle it by the edges and place it in a protective holder until an experienced dealer or a professional grading service can evaluate it. Think about that for a second. One careless cleaning could erase hundreds or even thousands of dollars in potential collector value. That's a mistake you never want to make. The next time someone laughs at you for checking pennies, remember this. Every legendary coin discovery started with someone willing to look closer than everyone else. Most people see 1 cent, collectors see possibilities. And sometimes, possibilities become incredible discoveries. So before you spend another handful of change, take a closer look at every 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. While an ordinary example isn't worth $1 million, an unusual error or exceptional specimen could still be far more valuable than its face value. And you'll never know unless you inspect it carefully. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a strange-looking penny in your pocket change? Or do you have a jar of old coins waiting to be searched? Let everyone know in the comments because your discovery might inspire someone else to check their own collection. And if you enjoy uncovering hidden treasures hiding in everyday change, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, we'll reveal more fascinating coins, hidden mint errors, and overlooked collectibles that could be sitting in your home right now, waiting for someone curious enough to recognize their true value before they're gone forever.